Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icewind, head out to show, or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
I think I'm here. Therefore I am, right? Welcome everybody to Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. Having a little glitch with OBS today. It did not want to connect. Had to restart everything. But I believe we're here, and it's Gaarawarr's Guide to Glitch Feats. Appropriately, right? That's appropriate that we get glitches in the system while we're talking about glitch feats. So today we're going to talk about the new glitch feats that arrived and how they might affect your gameplay. What they mean for you. As you can see, I don't have the glitch skins, unfortunately. Sandy hooked me up with the glitch feats that weren't gems, and then I just bought the gem feats. But so we could do this, but not the skins. Not the skins. Because this is not Gaarawarr's Guide to Glitch Skins. It's Gaarawarr's Guide to Glitch Feats. Glitch Feats. Alright, so all the champions you see on the screen here are the ones that we're going to be talking about their new feats today. And we'll talk about how they kind of fit in. How that changes things. I think the big thing is for Ashara. But there'll be other things that change, I'm sure. With me today in the production booth is Gabe for our penultimate tutorial show of 2023. Next week, last tutorial show of the year, and then there's a couple week break, and we'll be back in January. So enjoy one more week of CNE Game streams, and then you'll have to find something else to watch for a couple weeks. The way this show works, if you haven't been here before, the tutorial show, there is a Q&A portion. It's just not constantly running during the stream. So with this one, for the first hour-ish, I talk about a topic. And then the second hour, we do the Q&A. So if you have questions, follow the instructions down in that little white box at the bottom that says, please put question : in front of your questions. That way Gabe will grab them. Put them in a document, and then I can answer them in the second half of the show. I don't know that we're going to have, I don't know that it's going to go, and I don't know that there's an hour to talk about here, but we're going to cover stuff. We're going to come, like, trying to think, is there more? I kind of want to use them all, but, I mean, we're definitely going to have Ashara. I mean, there's some other... Ashara's a big one that I think everybody has questions around. Oh, hey, was there a... Okay, yeah. Just clearing that out. All right. Let us begin. So, here I am in the Turn of Fortune's Wheel campaign, the one that everybody loves to grind favor in, right? I think I could actually hear crickets there. Turn of Fortune's Favor campaign is the new campaign, and along with the storyline here, there is a bit of a glitch in this system because, you know, something happens in the very first adventure, and then suddenly, all of the champions look a little different. Like, for instance, Nieli looks like is in a Gith Yankee body for some reason. Still Nieli. Still got that haircut. See, normal Nieli haircut. Gith Yankee Nieli haircut. This needs to be on the skins. All right. And then you also get like Freely rocking in Aasimar Glitch Freely, looking like B-Dave. If you don't know, B-Dave Walters, creator of Freely. The glitch skins for creators look like their creator. So we get an Aasimar Freely that is definitely taller than normal Freely. Just to be clear. Definitely taller. You get a glitch Havilar, one of my favorites, because it becomes Aaron M. Evans cosplaying as Havilar. Sort of. It's great. I love it so much. You get the half-elf glitch. And of course, we get Orkira. And seeing his own Lauren Urban in the half-elf glitch Orkira skin. And those start showing up in the, just kind of in the chat dialogues during the, right, chat threw me off. During the conversation storyline stuff in the Turn of Fortune's Wheel. I highly recommend turning that on before doing that campaign. Otherwise, things are going to get real confusing at a certain point. And you're going to be like, what just happened? What just happened? All right. Now, along with those that they added, there was also Calliope. I almost forgot Calliope. Calliope is a Heron. Look at the ears. They're adorable. Calliope shows up in that adventure as a Heron as well. But then we also get, we got a couple feats with the most recent emergence event. So we got what I like to call Scent Re, which is the, oh my god, it's not showing up here. Hold on. Let me go over to the, I bet it only shows up over here. In the Thayan Enclave. There we go. Half-elf glitch sentry. But Ree is the name of the person who plays Sentry, created Sentry, so Sent Ree kind of works. Pretty fantastic skin there. And then, of course, Centaur Glitch Hitch, aka Cinch. Because we have Mind Flare Hitch and we just call him Mitch, so there's always got to be some kind of short thing, right? So we get you can do the Centaur Glitch Hitch. Now remember, if you get the skins out of the Thayan Enclave, that does not get you the feat. The feats are separate. The feats are down here. You can just get the functionality of the feats if you want. Remember, skins and feats, separate things. Okay? Separate things. And mine's a little buggy because it shows these available to buy here, but I already have them. That would not normally be the case, but dev shenanigans. Sean was nice enough to go in and just unlock those two for me. So, now, instead of their normal, well, I shouldn't say instead of, along with their normal races, so Orkira is a dragonborn, but the moment I slot in this feat, where do I want to put it up here? She is a dragonborn, doesn't change here, but she will then be counting as a dragonborn and a half-elf. Now, all of these feats also come with another secondary function, which was nice of them. I just thought they would add the different race, of course, but nope. This will also give you a nice little boost to Elemental Fire. This one for Akira, Elemental Fire ability by 20% for each half-elf in the formation. So this might be something you want to lean into. For Nayeli, we're going to go ahead and throw in... Here we go. Counts as a Githyanki. We'll get rid of some health. Because Githyanki are real tough. No, it's not an actual in-game mechanic. So Nayeli then becomes human and Githyanki. So if you're dealing with any kind of situation where you need Githyankis and humans together, or just you need to read as a Githyanki, that works. This increases the aura of courage by 20% per unique race in the formation. Which, I mean, should be counting each of these feat races. And I say should be because I don't think we get to see. Yeah, it doesn't show up over here for us to know if it's actually doing it or not. We can always remove 613 EO4. I can't do that math on stream. Somebody could do the math on stream and probably figure out if it's counting them all correctly. But it should be counting all the unique races, which includes this. So Nayeli's feat in and of itself, when you have other of these glitch feats, slotting those glitch feats is going to buff Aura of Courage, right? For Sentry, we have... Where is it? Okay. Just a couple of these double up feats. All right, let's remove this. All right, Sentry counts as a half-elf along with Warforged, so that's an interesting duplicate there. And then you get the increase the effect of Guardian of Solwyn by 20% for each half-elf in the formation. For each half-elf. We also need to ask the devs, is it 20% additively or multiplicatively? And that's actually a really good question. Somebody was probably going to ask that to me, and I don't know. Hold on. I'm making notes live. All right. That's something for Dev Insights. All right. So, Warforged half-elf. Next up, Calliope. So when we do Calliope, she starts off as a half-elf, so, had to go somewhere else with that. Ended up with the Heron Gone, which I think is fantastic. But then it also increases the effect of Calliope's Bardic Inspiration by 20% for each Bard in the formation. So this is one where if you're trying to run an all-Bard group, you're definitely going to want to throw this feat in. Because these glitch feats, as long as you meet a couple of the requirements, they're going to be fantastic for you. As just for the buffing part. And then the extra race can be a bonus in some cases, if that's not something you're playing off of, right? But we do have, this does create a nice, especially for Nayeli, a nice large number of unique races. Some of these will double up, but yeah. Freely, obviously, is going to be going from halfling, tall for halfling, to, just tall as an Aasimar. And then it's going to buff Unlucky for them by 20% for each Aasimar in the formation. Now, Unlucky for them is a good one. This is part of Luck of Yandala. It's a buff off Luck of Yandala, so it Unlucky for them specifically boosts opportunity in Luck of Yandala. And that's the damage debuff. So this feat actually gonna buff something that you really want. I mean, I'm usually running the 80% one, so if you have a lot of Aasimar in the formation, that debuff gets even bigger. And debuffs getting bigger is nice. I like big debuffs, and I cannot lie. Hitch starts off as human, gonna go to the centaur. Oh no, what am I gonna remove for Hitch? I'll get rid of this one because I just got a new feat to replace it. So that's then along with that, you're going to increase the effect of natural performer by 20% per unique race in the formation. So once again, potentially big buff for Hitch here. Yeah, because there's going to be, if you're running a glitch formation, you're going to be running a lot of different races. A lot of different races. Now, the nice thing about Natural Performer, kind of a Hitch's kit, all like it's based around Natural Performers, so all of the things feed in. Well, Ricochet is the only other thing. It's going to feed in a Natural Performer. That is their buff. They can buff themselves and other people. So, nice, easy place to target, because even if it was Ricochet, it's still buffing Natural Performer, right? And then finally, if we look over here at Gaarawarr, where are we at? Here we go. Half-Elf Glitch Feat. Gaarawarr starts off as a tiefling. Should have been obvious by the horns and the tail. But, you know. And then is going to count as a half-elf as well. So this increases the effect of Gaarawar's Battlemaster ability by 20% for each half-elf in the formation. There's a lot of half-elves in this glitch group, so that can help. Now, I want to give a shout-out to another that's over here. Now, it isn't my Nayeli's slot. This is not a glitch feat. But we do already have a feat in the game that adds a race to somebody's, information. And that's for Mahen. Mahen has the adoptive father feat that counts as a tiefling. Now that we've seen that they've released, I just have to say this. Now that we've seen that they've released glitch feats that not only make someone count as another race, but then buff as well. CNE. I mean, when you come back to give Mahen some love, and we all know he needs a little bit. He's the best _1 dad. He's the #1 dad. He needs some love. Add that secondary buff here, please. But just so you know, if you want a Dragonborn Tiefling combo, Mahen's got that for you over here. Over here in slot 3. If for some reason Nayeli isn't who you want to run with. All right, let's put Nayeli back. Okay. Let's switch this. Oh no, it's in his face here. Oh, yeah, there. Make sure everybody can be seen. Make sure everybody can be seen. So obviously a lot of interesting changes. And if you run the skins with them, that's just icing on the cake. But one of the big things we're going to be looking at, none of these, there are multiple champions that like to have interactions with races. The biggest one we're going to be talking about today is Ashara. I mean, that's the main one we're going to be talking about today. Like the Brimstone Angels, obviously you saw Mahen gets to count as a tiefling, and that's because Frida likes other tieflings in the formation. There's things like that we're not really, these glitch feats aren't really delivering for that. So keep that in mind. Kind of the big deal that's going on here, and the one that everybody's excited about, is Ashara and her bond. I still want a what did I call it? Formal wear line of skins. We've already got a couple formal wear skins in the game, but I'm still waiting for Ashara in a tuxedo and the flavor text to just say bond. Ashara bond. I need that in my life. So Ashara, if you should know if you're playing this game, she's one of your core champions. She bonds with different races, and the number of those races that are in your formation buff those bonds and allow it to buff herself too, because it starts off as a support buff. But if you get a certain number of people matching the bond, suddenly things get real big. She turns into a machine gun and goes pow, pow, pow. First set of bonds. If you're doing support, obviously support Ashara can run any of these. You pick whoever your DPS is. When you're running support Ashara, you either, if your DPS isn't one of these set of bonds, hopefully it's the next set. And then up here, it doesn't matter. That's kind of the way it works. When you're working with support, you ignore the bonds that aren't yours and just go for whatever the one is that's buffing your DPS. But if you're going DPS Ashara, it's always potpourri. It's always potpourri. Because this lets you double dip. If it meets a certain number of champions in the formation, she's going to get it. But because it's potpourri, she already gets it, so she gets it twice. This is one of the strengths of Ashara. Obviously humans over here, dwarves and elves over here. Like if you're using Ashara as when you're first starting and you're starting off with Jarlaxle DPS, you choose dwarves and elves because Jarlaxle is a drow and drow are elves. But right here we're going to go for potpourri. So we're looking for things like Aarakocra, which is Ashara. Centaur. Oh my, Hitch now counts, right? With that feed in. Dragonborn, or Kira has that, right? Firbolg, that would be like Tyrell. Lizard folk, that would be our samurai over here, Korth, who's in the current season. Minotaur, that would be like Toragar. Satyr, now for Jangsal. Tieflings, well, we have Havilar in this formation, counting as a Tiefling. And Tortle champions like, say, Grama or Krull. Yeah. Yay. So we're going to go there. And now the nice thing that we're looking at is we're already seeing that we've got it, like we had 4 of that bond. And that's because we have Ashara counting, we've got Hitch counting, we've got Orkira counting, and we've got Havilar counting. And that 4 is what we need. You need 4 of each. You need to get 4 in a bond for it to then feed into Ashara via her later ability here. Paragon of Kir Sabal. So once she gains the effect of a given bond, if at least 4 champions are affected by it. So 4 is our target number, and Hitch, normally this formation, well, it's not a full formation, but normally this formation wouldn't work because it would be 1 short. But Hitch having that feed in makes it possible. Yes, I'm aware Krull is in seat 6. I was just naming off turtles that are in the game, folks. Chill. Chill. It's okay. The game doesn't break just because I'm naming off a bunch of different people of a certain race. Alright. Alright. Next up is the second set of bonds. Now, there are only 2 sets of bonds. It covers pretty much everything in the game. And here's where things can get a little trickier, right? If you're running a DPS Ashara, then you need to find a place. You need to find a group that you're building the rest of your formation around that are strong champions for you that are going to give you at least 4 in one of these sets. Now, if you're running support, then your DPS might be in one of these sets, right? So half and half is the first one, and this is any half elves, half orcs, or half lings in the party. Exotic races is a much bigger list. This is kind of where they dump everything. They either put everything into potpourri or exotic races. They kind of choose. So exotic races: Aasimar. Hey, there's Freely right now. Bullywug like Blushi, Doppelganger like Xeraphon, Genasi like Nova, Gif like Commodore Crux, Gith, that would be Lae'zel, right? Lae'zel and Narak, and also Nieli now with this feat in, right? Because there's Gith Zerai and there's Gith Yankee, right? But they're just shortened as Gith. Harengon, which Calliope in this situation would count as. Kalishtar. Is that Solok? That's the one I can't remember. I think that's Solok. Sorial like Dragonbait. Tabaxi like Birdsong. Warforged. Hey, guess what? We got Sentry in the formation. And Yuan-Ti like Sasaspia, right? So these are the exotic races. Wee. Short folk, it should be anyone that in D&D 5e counts as short and not medium, like small instead of medium in terms of size. So for people who are confused why dwarves aren't here, dwarves are medium. They're just at the small end of medium. It's just the way it is. So Short folk are going to be gnomes like Zorbu. Goblins. Why can I not? Lazaps. I'm like, why? I had the mispronunciation people like to use in my head, and I was like, no, I will not disrespect her name. Lazaps, halflings like Freely, kobolds like well, Spurt. I was gonna say Human, but they're definitely not 3 kobolds and a Trechko. They're a human. Nerds, of course. I mean, there's just nerds. So, and then plasmoids like Vinner. So plasmoids like Vinner. So. All right. Now, in this situation, obviously, we had lots of there's a lot of half-elf glitch feats, and you can see right now that number's shot through the roof. We didn't just hit 4, we hit 6. So, this can help this out quite a bit, because not only do we have like a halfling in Freely, but we've got a bunch of people counting as half-elves. And Hitch started out. No, Hitch was human. That's right. It was Calliope that's half elf. Calliope started out as a half elf. So then you get just a bunch of other people that get to qualify as half elves, and suddenly Ashara is fully bonded and licensed in the state of Faerun. Wait, no. Yeah. And suddenly anyone else you want to put in your formation is just bonus all of a sudden. Now, this may not be the ideal situation for you. This may not be the group you want to run with, but just know these kind of glitch feats are giving Ashara much more freedom. Oh, it only says 5, but it's 6. I think. Should be 6. I think what it's doing is it's counting. Oh, that number might be off. I think it's counting Ashara. So it's giving Ashara a lot more freedom when it comes to building out her formations. You get, because you're double dipping in effect with like the big ones are Orkira and well, Akira's a big one because she counts as Dragonborn for Potpourri, and then the feat lets her count as half elf for half and half. Suddenly you've got one extra space in your formation that you don't have to fill in with a half and half champion. That kind of situation, those types of situations, and we see that with Freely. Wait, no. Freely's going to be the halfling, and then an Aasimar, and that's going to go. The Aasimar is under exotic. So if you were going for exotic, see, I'm getting confused. There's so many different duplicate races now. But if you're going for exotic bonds versus, which was a big thing, versus half and half, I always found half and half to be the easiest one, and that's a lot of very strong champions in the game are under the half and half category. But a lot of people ran exotic races, specifically with like Nova, champions like Nova, to run the second bond. So ultimately, you're getting a lot more freedom in who you can add, because these champions can count as 2. Are we up to? Yeah. See, half and half now with the bonuses is up to an E12. And the E11 for Potpourri. Pretty solid. Pretty solid for her. I'm not even at soft cap either, so that's nice. And then if you fill in the rest of your formation, you can fill it in with whatever you want. You could target the same, usually at this point you go for your biggest buffers, but you could target, if you had big buffers that fill in either Potpourri or half and half in this scenario. That's just going to give you an even bigger bonus. There's Lizaps. What else would I want to use here? I mean, I'd probably go, if I were building this formation out to actually push with, I'd probably throw Strongheart in. And then maybe Myria for deep diving. But because we've already got all of our bonds, it really frees you up to build whatever kind of formation you want, because suddenly you've got people counting as multiples. I just want to do a quick pass here. Like I said, I don't know that this is going to be the super longest stream. Do we have anyone else that's a major? there are going to be other champions who like to have people of specific races in the formation. Like, Jarlaxle, we don't really have anybody that functions Jarlaxle. Jarlaxle likes other Drow, and we don't have any glitches for Drow yet. Here's the thing. This is kind of a primer. These first 6 champions, they're kind of just a primer to get you in the headspace of how these glitch feats are going to work, because this campaign has only just begun, folks. We are in the earliest stages of doing the glitch stuff. And I have no doubt that we're going to see a lot more glitches come to the game. It just makes sense as we progress, because it's kind of it's a fun, powerful feature that allows for unique changing up kind of the meta of building formations around these race based bonuses. And there's no reason why they can't just keep exploring that space. Yeah, we already talked about the tiefling. I don't know. People are going to ask about specific champions if there's another specific champion that they want to get some information about, because right now I'm like, the big one is Ashara. Everybody kind of was asking about Ashara. And we didn't want to do like a guide just to Ashara again. So this is about the glitch feats, and yes, it does talk about Ashara. It does talk about Ashara. I think that's the biggest one. One of the biggest ones that I pay attention to are like Ashara's bonuses, and then Farida's when I'm running Farida DPS. She loves them tieflings. She loves them tieflings so much. Yeah. Be nice if Ashara herself got a glitch feat. Well, she might. But it'd probably be for a human or a dwarf or an elf. Look, C&E, here's the thing. We need more dwarves in the game. Boy, what a good time to add it counts as a dwarf feat for Catti, Bree, and Wolfgar. They were raised by a dwarven father. Come on, it doesn't even have to be a glitch feat. Although a dwarf Catti, Bree, and a dwarf Wolfgar, I mean, those would make me very happy. Catti Bree finally getting her beard that all the dwarves she grew up with said she needed. Yeah. And a short Wolfgar. I mean, who doesn't want to see a stout little dwarven Wolfgar? Come on. All right, folks. We have no questions. That could be because nobody asked any. It could be because I bored Gabe and Gabe fell asleep. That could be it. That could be it. I'm just trying to scroll through. See, did we just know? Nobody's asking questions today. Well, folks, nobody's asking questions, so I guess we're just going to call it. No. But we are probably going to go to the break early. And I will have to do. Yeah, I mean, I guess I have to do the one-man show. I mean, isn't that what I do every week, though? Isn't it? All right, folks. We're gonna go to the break early. We're gonna come back, and then we're just gonna finish this off with Q&A. So if you have questions about other interactions with the glitch feats, like I said, there's not a whole lot to cover here other than how you obtain them, which a lot of them are gem feats. Well, I call them gem feats, but they're parts of packs in the store. I just treat that as gem feats. But you can get the glitch skin packs. And this, let's go find one. There's probably an easier way to do this. There we go. Here's the Haragon glitch class. Look at her. Oh God, I kind of need that skin. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of need that skin. I already have. Here's the problem. I already have Pirate Calliope, and pirate skins are the best skins. Here's the glitch Aasimar freely. It's a little freaky that there's like a hand claw like on their belt. Not gonna lie. So you can pick these up this way. There's the half elf Havilar. Definitely need to still buy that one. Get Yankee Nieli. And of course, Lauren Urban. Wait, I mean Half Elf Glitch Orkira. Half Elf Glitch Orkira. The others, as stated before, oops, I didn't mean to close all the way out, are over here. You'd have to get them separately via the Thean Enclave system and the Corrupted Gems. So the feats are down here. The skins are up here. Feats are down here. Now, who knows how they'll introduce others? Obviously, you know, the packs in the store are a good way. You know, I'm hoping they introduce like some gem ones for the gem store. That might be neat. But again, I have a feeling we'll probably see more of those as Turn of Fortune's wheel progresses. As Turn of Fortune's wheel progresses. All right, we're gonna go to the break. Well, what song are we going to? Or Akira's song, One Problem at a Time. See you in a second.
I want you to be happy, I want you to be safe. And if it can't be either, then I'll toast you in the grave. I'm hanging with the phoenix as you travel across the land, thwarting lots of evil with the cast of burning hands. So let's take it one problem at a time. If we're there together, there's no mountain we won't climb. So grab around the fire, my friend, and sing another line. Let's celebrate together till we all run out of rhymes. Hey! I'll heal you with my fire, I'll catch you with my wings. And when it gets real dire, I'll devour all the things. My friends are like marshmallows, flammable and sweet. I try hard not to burn them when I'm bringing home the heat. Then we'll take it one problem at a time. If we're there together, there's no mountain we won't climb. Together around the fire, my friends, and sing another line. Let's celebrate together till we all run out of rhymes. Hey! I'm always up for travel, I've been to many lands. We can even go right now, just let me grab my pants. I'll follow you through danger and heal you with the spell. And if we stick together, everything will turn out swell. Then we'll take it one problem at a time. If we stand together, there's no mountain we won't climb. So gather around the fire, my friends, and sing another line. Let's celebrate together till we all run out of rhymes. Hey! Jumping through the portals and traveling the plains, always fighting evil and easing all your pains. I'm helping out the heroes and the BFGs. One day we'll be happy and all will be at ease. Then we'll take it one problem at a time. If we're there together, there's no mountain we won't climb. So gather around the fire, my friends, and sing another line. Let's celebrate together till we all run out of rhymes. Then we'll take it one problem at a time. If we're there together, there's no mountain we won't climb. It's been a lot of fun here, but now it's time to go. I'll come back again tomorrow and be on another show.
And we're back. And we're back. All right, let's hit up questions. So this is the time on this show where you all have to ask questions, so I have something to do. Otherwise, I'm just going to pick a topic and run with it. Thalo asks, other than dwarves, what races would you like to see added as glitches? Well, I mean, look, this is going to lead into another question that I saw pop up in chat. We were teased a long time ago about Tritons, and we never got a Triton. So there's one. But outside that, like, it's kind of like whatever makes sense. I've always wanted these like dwarf feats for Catti-brie and Wolfgar, but that's not really a glitch. They don't necessarily have to turn into dwarves. But I would love to see, you know, that's one. It doesn't really count as bringing more dwarves to the game. Not in the way I would want it, but like just in terms of glitches, I kind of don't really care. They can be whatever. I think, get weird with it. Like, if you don't have any plans to add in a kind of champion like a Triton that we just don't have in the game, glitch it. Why not? Right? Why not? Because it's also going to play into things like legendary bonuses. We didn't talk about this. I guess I should have. There are champions who have legendary effects available to them that are based around the number of other certain types of those champions in the game. Well, if we had some glitches into Minotaurs, that would be huge, right? Because Minotaurs give a big bonus off like Torgar's legendary effect, one of the legendary effects. So, play around with some of these rarer champion bonuses that happen in the legendary system too. Because, what they do, that it's so high, it's 300%, because normally they're looking at it and going, oh, well, we just don't have a lot and we don't have any in our pipeline, so let's give it a big bonus. Ooh, glitch it, and suddenly that changes a lot, right? And you're going to want those. But speaking of Tritons, Rough Rider asked, do the glitch feats affect the Ishi meta? And first off, Ishi meta? Look, Ishi's adorable, and I've known their creator since the Dawngate days, where they were a streamer in Dawngate, and I ran a fan site for Dawngate. But Ishi meta? Really? Bugs, if you don't know, Ishi Snaggletooth is over here in slot 4, so obviously this throws Sentry out of the situation. Ishi's a kobold, another kobold. Fighter rogue, the best fighter ever. And their specializations are about, other races. So there's friends to shorties, friends to tall monsters, and friends to tall folk. So we get dwarfs, gnomes, halflings, kobolds, nerds, plasmoids, saurials, and goblins. Now we do have we don't have anything that's going to glitch into this. We do have half-elf glitches, so that's going to change. You potentially could have friends to tall folks, and you get extra credit here. Warforged, you'll get a double dip off. Well, no, because Sentry doesn't get in here, so never mind. You'll get your dips potentially off of half-elves. And then friend of tall monsters is probably, we're going to see Aarakocra, centaurs, so we can get hitch counting to help out Ishi. There's Dragonborn. Unfortunately, the Dragonborn is a half-elf glitch, so that's not really going to help too much. Naeli can glitch into Githzerai, which is useful. Calliope can glitch into Heron, which is useful for this. Yeah. So definitely would help out, would get you into friend of tall monsters and make that nicer. Make that nicer. One of the things, Ishi is one of those champions who could use a turn in the season wheel. Hopefully more like the past seasons where people get some solid improvements, because this is just increases Ishi's damage by 100% for each of these. And I think nowadays this should be 100% be each of these stacking multiplicatively. Like that alone would probably potentially encourage the aforementioned Ishi meta, because right now just getting 100% extra isn't really that great, right? But if it was multiplicatively, well, that's what we're talking about. That's a good way, right? That's the good way. Thalo, for variants that are restricted to certain races, what's going to happen? Will it depend on whether it says only X or not X? Yeah, it's going to be around the actual descriptor. If it says only these races are allowed, then having a glitch, saying you can glitch into centaurs doesn't help if it says only centaurs, right? Which, I mean, this is just an example. That's not a thing I think that would ever happen, because there's only now 2 centaurs in the game. But if it gives you like a group, if it says these races are allowed, and yeah, because you're going to count as that race. So you would be able to get in. Only and not are going to be a problem because those two aren't really going to work. Only, let's say, only half elves. Well, that doesn't work for anybody that's glitching into half elf because they're counting as their original race and half elf. They're not only half elf. I don't think they're going to be allowed in. Find out, try it out, but it would read at rules is written no, and if it says no half elves, then, well, let's say it says no warforged. Well, you can't just slot Sentry's half elf feat and get in because she still counts as a warforged. So it's more that it's going to help you in places where it says, hey, you know, these races, like, you can play as like half elves and halflings, and it's like, well, okay, well, now I've got a bunch of other people that can count as halflings. Let's get them in. That's what it reads. That's what it would read like when it comes to those. And remember, you can slot. You know, that's one of those situations where you can just slot the feet in from the bench, and then they'll go from not being allowed to being allowed. That'll tell you right then if it's going to work or not. Thalo, if Baloth glitches, well, I think what they're saying is that Baloth glitches into human. Will there be jokes about him looking a lot like Uriah? I don't know, maybe. That's a Trevor question. Trevor's the writer of Idle Champions. But yeah, you would have to glitch into a human, and thus then look like they're his creator. Well, the person who plays Baloth, Mark Meer. Because Baloth was created for a video game, but Mark Meer is the actor that plays Baloth. The Lurking Rider doing our crossover. I mean, why not? There's a lot of game crossovers nowadays. Lurking Rider, if Dave the Diver were a champion, how many roles would he have? And could you complete a lesson in classes with him being the only eligible champion? I'm going to say no to the lesson in classes, but Dave, I don't know. Dave would definitely be support. Dave would be DPS and support. And I guess, I mean, he tanks damage pretty well. So tank. He would not be a healer. He would not be a healer. And I don't think he's a speed champion either. So DPS support tank. Dave's a DPS support tank. So 3 roles. Yeah. Because yeah, Dave's just not. I mean, look. If you haven't played Dave the Diver, folks. Oh, Amber alert on the phone. Hold on. I'm not outside, so I can not help with that. Yeah, Dave's not fast. Dave's not fast. Dave's not super fast. Yeah. But yeah, Dave the Diver X Idle Champions crossover. I'm here for it. At the Game Awards, they announced that we were talking about it. It's hilarious because I've been playing Dave the Diver over on my channel, Twitch TV/Gaarawarr. We had been talking about. I just played through the Dredge, the Pale Reach expansion, like DLC, which was fantastic. And then we started playing Dave the Diver, and I was like, oh man. When's that Dave the Diver X Dredge? All of us were talking about when's the Dave X Dredge crossover coming? And at the Game Awards, they announced there's a Dave X Dredge DLC coming. And I saw the video for it last night, and it is glorious. I cannot wait. And it's free, which makes it even better. So yeah, let's get Dave and Dredge. Why not? Dave can go everywhere, right? Calvin and Hobbs, does Mahen's feat that makes him a tiefling make him count towards potpourri twice? It should, yeah, because he counts as a tiefling and a dragonborn, so you should get double credit for that. Sometimes I say should because rules is written, right? Now whether or not they actually did them on the back end, yeah, it should be. It should be too. Somnidius, I have a question about the save formation function. Okay, where is it and how does it work? Oh. All right, so over here on the left, there is the this is the generally now known as the save symbol. This is a representation of a floppy disk. If you click this is how this is the formation save manager. You can name your formation and save it. You can include feats. You can choose a hotkey, 1, 2, or 3 if you want it to be one of your main ones. And you can overwrite an existing formation that you have. Now you can also just manage, this is the folder icon, you can just manage them in the formation save manager. You can load a save from here that you've already made. You can edit the titles, you can delete it. Just kind of take a look. You can click and make adjustments to it. Like this one needs a, let's see. Let's just make that. I can adjust a feat setting and save it. Yes, thank you. Just by clicking on those, or not a feat, but a specialization. If I want to assign feats to it, I can. This one has none of them in there. That's fine. That's fine. I'm sure that's not a problem at all. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Now that system, and then these are the hotkeys 1, 2, and 3 if you want to push it over here, and then this clears the entire formation. Now this system interacts with this system, your Modron. For automation, the only way you can load in a formation for automation is to have already created one, right, in whatever campaign you're trying to do. So all of it's down here in the bottom left. All of it's down here in the bottom left. Xanthfan, any idea for getting Sasaspia's ultimate with 50 stacks? Sure, yeah. You can drop to area 1 to max stack, sure. Return to wall and spin all, but still too many die before 50 are placed. Oh, it's because you're not at your wall. You're not really at your wall, Xanthfan. I can tell right away. If things are dying, here's the. Okay, hold on. Let me demonstrate how you would want to do this. You're gonna want to create a situation here. Like you push deep with a formation, but then you clear your formation out, right? And then you go, I need Sasaspia. You put Sasaspia in, and you let her build up her torus of spores. You're gonna go into spreading spores. Now my Sasaspia can't get to 50, so this should be helpful to a lot of people. Mine's gonna max out in the 40s. You go here and then you just throw in. Well, we're gonna throw in Havilar because I like Havilar. And we'll let Havi tank. And then you're gonna go forward. Now normally, now this may not work because I may be killing things with Havilar, and I probably am gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna kill things with Havilar. But what you need to do is when you then move forward, what you should have done is pushed real deep with a full formation, and then when you come back, and you should be somewhere where your Sasaspia and your tank, who should be the only people in the formation, your Sasaspia and your tank, where they can't do the damage to kill anything. You don't want a full formation. You don't need a full formation. You just need Sasaspia and somebody to tank up the mobs. It also doesn't have to be 50 enemies. I want to be clear. This is a season quest, and the season quest specifically states that you just need 50 spores infecting enemies. You can have up to 4 spores affecting every regular enemy, so you only need 13 enemies on the screen. So if I came into this situation and my max is 45, well, then I just need to go forward. I need to push super deep, come back so that I have whatever my max is stored, move forward. When she's completely empty, then I might want to count out. I probably wouldn't have to count out 5 more. She would have generated 5 more in that time, but I could then just count out 5 more and then hit the ultimate, and then it's winner winner fungal dinner. Yeah. So she doesn't have. You don't have to hit max spores 50. You could be all the way down at 40. Then you just need to count out 10 more spores at the end, right? And you only have to be able to tank like 13 plus enemy. It's a fairly low number, like below the overwhelm feature for a tank, so you should be fine. But if you're killing, if when you move back to your wall, if you're killing things, then you did not remove everybody else in your formation, and that's what you're going to need to do, right? All right, let's throw a group back in. Hey, where'd you all go? Get back in here. Yeah. Oh. All right, Rough Rider. How do the glitch feats affect humans? Hello, fellow human buff. So it's okay. Let's go pull this up. Okay. So, let's be real clear. Hello, fellow humans. Buffs teamwork based on the number of human champions in the formation. There aren't any glitches into human. So, as this is stated, it doesn't affect it at all, right? However, we do have, did we say humans? We meant this one can change, right? Because what it's going to do is that now, instead of humans, it's going to go with whatever the most populous race in your formation is. Right now, that's half-elves, because we got a lot of half-elf glitches. So it's still going to count those numbers. It's just going to look for whatever the highest one is. And it's part of the specialization, not the base thing, because we don't have any human glitches. If we had human glitches, you could buff up human glitches, but we don't right now. So yeah, I mean, I can run 4 half-elves. Sure. And 4 half-elves would put this at, what, into 4 to 5, 700% buff? Like, you love it. You like building it up into one of these. If you can get to 8, yeah. Don't really need to go higher, but yeah. Small buff until you get to the higher numbers. You get to the higher numbers. Oh wait, no, I put that up there. Rough Rider, how large can you get Dobbs befriend everybody? Spec choice. Ooh, that's a good question. I'm at 11 right now. I'm at 11 right now. And this stacks multiplicatively, so, oh yeah, these are nice. Oh yeah, those are nice. If we were doing like an Ashara group, what are we looking at now? 12, so 13. Right now we could get it to 13 because we just add one more in, maybe. So you'd have to find somebody that's gonna, because it's counting each unique race. So you need to get a unique race in the formation. I don't know that it's necessarily worth it. I mean, here, let's go Korth. That would be 12, right? Or 13. There you go. Baker's dozen. So right now we can get it up to a baker's dozen. Baker's dozen is 13 for reasons. Because you buy 12, you would go to a baker, you would ask for 12 in the older days. I'm old. You would ask for 12 of, so you would buy a dozen of something, and then they would throw in an extra one. That doesn't happen anymore. Nowadays, when you go buy 12 donuts, they just give you 12 donuts. Anyway, yeah, so you could get to 13, which let's see what that looks like. It's got to be a big. Does it tell us over here? Oh, yeah. That's EO6. That's solid. All right. Blacksy, what voice actress that isn't involved with Idle Champions yet would you love to see join, and what would they play? I mean, I don't know that it... I don't care, personally, if they're a voice actor or actress, because we don't have VO in the game. So I guess I don't really... I don't know. Like, to me, it's a confusing question because that doesn't really have to, it would be one thing to have if we had voiced characters in the game. Yeah, sure. We don't. For me, it's just, I'd like to, There are content creators who play characters in TTRPG shows that I would love to see in this game. But yeah, beyond that, I'm like, there are some Ack Inc. There are some Ack Inc. characters I would still love to see in this game. Obviously, the critical role, all the different critical roles, like from Vox Machina to the Mighty Nine to Bell's Hells. I mean, please, yes, please. Not gonna happen. That I don't think critical role is ever gonna happen. We got Spurt. Yeah, we got Spurt. There we go. That's our one nod to critical role. But yeah, so I don't really look at it as oh, they're a voice actor or an actual actor or something. Like, I don't. So yeah, does B Dave have a character? Yeah, it's Freely, dilettante. Freely, it's literally, this is what we were talking about today. Freely's skin is literally B Dave. It's literally B Dave. Look, it's B Dave. It's B Dave with white eyes and a funky tattoo. The rest is literally just B Dave. You don't realize that when you're watching. He's got some special effects going on, but. So yeah, I don't. The voice actor thing. I don't care. We want to see more of the Baldur's Gate 3 crew, and we're going to see more of the Baldur's Gate 3 crew. So there's some more there's some more actors and actresses, because they do play their characters fully. They're gonna come in. Baldur's Gate 3 won a bunch of awards at the Video Game Awards, and everyone related to it. Yeah, they did good. Jorathanas, I do not see the place to buy chests with unspent candles when the event ends. That's because that doesn't exist. When an event ends, all the candles go away. That's the way it's always worked. So, I've always, I think early on I pushed for, like, give people a 3-day period where they can still spend their gems in the store, and add, like, the gold chests and silver chests, and make silver chests a lot cheaper, and so people can just spend their event tokens. But that's not a thing. That's not a thing. You have to do it before the event ends. And again, you should be doing free plays with your event tokens, but if for some reason you run out of time, you can buy a gold chest with 10,000 tokens, but that's not really worth. Oh god, I did not see the weekend chest. Oh, that's freaky. That's with the hands? God. I got a shout out to the Idle Champions artists, because they come up with a new gold chest theme, like, art. They've been doing it every week. It's been over 6 years, folks. That's over 300 unique pieces of art for these weekend chests, along with all the art they do for the champion chests. Man, I feel like at some point they gotta just start recycling, but they still haven't. There may have been one repeat in 6 years, but I don't even remember. I don't remember what it was. Running out of questions. Headhunterama, currently gem farming for 50k's gems to buy a feat. Okay. Which would do me more good for progressing in the mid game? Nordum, no. Just leave Nordum off the list. Shandy's Second Wind, probably. Is that the speed one? So that's probably it. Oh, hold on. Decreases time. Yes. Do I need to? Oh, Strongheart Seasoned Warrior. Oh no. Strongheart goes from a double credit to a triple credit with Seasoned Warrior. But Shandy goes from taking 30 seconds, which that this timer pauses in transitions. So it can be like 60 or more seconds. Sometimes it feels like. I would say, your gem farm, if you have Shandy in your gem farm is going to generate so many more gems, which is just, that's a snowball for this game, right? Getting lots of gems, that just snowballs your progress. Because I would say this, because this is going to get you gems faster, and getting more gems just means you can then get the Strongheart's feat sooner, right? So second wind. Whenever we're talking about earning gems, it's like you go for whatever spend gems on things that earn you gems faster. Make your gems work for you. So yeah, I would go second wind. I kind of thought that immediately. I was like, oh no, is that the speed one? Then that one. And yeah, it is. But Nordum isn't even a part of that conversation. I hate to say it. I wish he was, but Nordum isn't a target for gems until after all of your speed champions are fully, like, they have their speed feats, they've got all of their item levels that they need, or that you're aiming for. Like in the case of a Briv, if you just want a 4 jump and you're not worried about going beyond that, then you can start investing in Nordum. But Nordum's literally at the bottom of the list for investments. He just does not give a return. His only use is for leveling up your Mojang core, and his return on that investment far, far, far less than a standard speed champion that has feats and items that gems are going to affect it. Yeah, no, I get what you're thinking about, Headhunorama. It's just that your speed champions are going to deliver more for you by investing in them than Nordum will. Because you're going to complete areas faster. The Nordum takes so many item levels, and even the feat doesn't help a lot until you get, higher item levels, and yeah. It's unfortunate. Nordum needs love. Nordum needs some love. Wicked One. We don't have to be on topic today. We got so much. We still got another 50 minutes. Well, 45 before the song kicks in. What sort of time per run should be a goal for Briv farming? Oh, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't fiddle with that. I don't fiddle with Briv. I Briv gem farm. I don't fiddle with the time. I just try to get a gem farm that is. Hold on. We've got time. Let me just. We're gonna bounce. I'll show you what I do, because we have time for this. For once, we have time for me to demonstrate. Yep. Okay. Got my core, the right core in. Dang it. I'm gonna go make sure it's the right. Nope, it is not. Okay. I don't know if my Briv has stacks, but we're gonna find out. All right. Boom. So, time can be affected by the time overrun can be affected by a lot of things, like the fact that, hey, I used a speed potion in this. I autofill speed potions for this. Well, sometimes I autofill mediums. Sometimes I autofill mediums and larges. Because I roll like that. Just because. Smalls I tend to end up using up, to speed up event runs when I'm churning tokens, so I don't really focus on that too much, but generally, yeah. Generally, these get burned off doing this. So my time is always going to be a little off. My time's going to be different from your time. But when I'm doing this, again, I don't really care about. I care about time, but that's not what I'm looking at. That's not what I'm fiddling with, right? What I'm fiddling with what I was fiddling with when I built out this formation, is, am I getting an efficient stack at my wall? And we'll get into that. Am I getting the right number of haste stacks from the steel bone stacks that I'm earning? And am I not like getting too many, right? So yeah, but I don't know how long that takes because I don't care. I just need it to be right. So what I'm fiddling with is kind of flex. There's some flexibility that I like to have in my formations. That not, if some people like to really fine tune it down to the second, but then things like weekend buffs and weekday buffs can screw that up, right? So I tune mine. Also, when a season starts, all of these buffs, right? I tune mine so that there's a little leeway, so that it's not right on the edge, so that there's leeway. So as weekend and weekday buffs change, it doesn't break my gem farm. And for me, that's more important than fine tuning it to the exact, like this is the shortest number of seconds I can do my run. That's not because at some point, if I do that, I'm going to lose time readjusting my gem farm for a weekday or a weekend buff. If that makes sense, right? Yeah. So I run to 687. That's just, again, if you aren't one of the initiated for Briv gem farm, if you don't know what the heck is going on here, please don't copy paste. This is not a normal speed formation. Please don't copy paste. That it won't work for you. It won't. I mean, in general, I really want to give people a warning if you're newer to this game. Just because somebody posts a formation that they beat something with doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But when we get into Briv gem farming takes a lot of the mechanics of a lot of the things that you would assume you're supposed to do and flips them on their head. Not like Warduke does, but like, as you can see, I'm not even running a full formation, and that confuses some people. Like, why not add more speed champions? You got Sentry down here. You got BBEG. Why are they not in? That'd make you go faster. It screws everything up, though. For reasons. So I've got a little bit of a slowdown here, which I don't like. Why is that happening? Is it just my favor value? Hold on. I'm not sure. It's probably a bit of the favor value. Actually, sometimes you have to give up a little to get a little later, and right now I think we're stopping at some of the beast levels, which is ideal, but it's slowing us down a little too much. So I probably need maybe just a smidge more damage in my build. But I don't know if I can add it. We'll see if I can add it when I get up here to my actual wall. So this may be the fastest that I can make this with Thalora. Thalora, there's a give and take with Thalora. She's way. I used to run Whittle in this group, and I replaced her with Thalora. And even with these, tiny little what I call them speed bumps that are coming along, way better. It's way better with Thalora. It's still way faster because she rushes me past 70 plus levels. Yeah. But things, again, all of this gets, again, don't just copy paste formations, because all this gets real specific. Here's my final stacking level. I should get around 3,000. Yeah, I had a nice number of stacks that I ended on. But yeah, obviously the time that this takes, there's, mine has a little bit of slowdown, but that little bit of slowdown earns me more gems than it did when I was using Whittle instead. Like, it earns me, more gems per hour. Your GPH. Some people do that BPH, bags per hour, or bosses per hour. I don't count that. I just do gems per hour. And then I average them out. People don't like to do the averaging, so they do the bosses per hour. So let's see. Am I gonna hit this right? So we should get the key for this for the uninitiated is now we hit a point where we're gonna have to wait and stack up 100 enemies, and then rage is gonna kick in, which is gonna give us a bigger buff from Dragon Bait, which is gonna let us clear the level, and that's how we auto stack Briv. I don't have to script. I don't have to do any of those things that I don't want to do. We can just make this happen automatically. As long as it clears after 3,000, it should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine. Now the question is, yeah, 3,200s. Yeah, I'm in a pretty safe place. I don't really want to add more damage because that's going to be pretty fine-tuned most likely. And then it's going to go again. And this is the magic of automated Briv gem farming. No scripts whatsoever. I've literally tweaked the game so that the buff kicks in at the right point to clear the wave when he has the right number of stacks. People have been asking, hey, give us an automation feature so that we can set the number of stacks we want Briv to reset with. I do it yourself. Lazy. I know it's not easy, but this is the reward. Like, that just makes it too easy. I don't think they're ever going to do that because they don't even like that people can generate the gems you can generate with this. But you can already clearly I can do this. You could do it too. It takes a little work. But yeah. There's guides out there from Zeke and Lediath over on the subreddit. Check those out if you want more information on Briv gem farming. But yeah, I don't really time it. I just, I'm looking at the number of stacks I have, and when we get to the end here in a second, I will check again to see when we get to 686. I'll check to see what, like I was at 69 stacks. There are times where it's been tuned, so I was literally at like 50 stacks when I hit that level, and that scares me. That's a little off. That's only what I would want to see happen if I have buffs coming in, speed buffs coming in from a champion or something. Or not speed buffs, like damage buffs coming in from a champion during a weekday thing. Lurking Rider, what do you think of the gem costs for feats? For example, in your opinion, are they balanced correctly? I'm gonna flip this around and say this a different way, and I'm gonna say I think the costs for gems are fine, 12.5K and then 50K, and I think we could probably even, I'd probably be even okay with them adding another tier up above that that's even more expensive. What I think is wrong, what I think is off in terms of their tuning, in the tuning from my perspective. Again, this is just my limited perspective, my opinion. Is I think the buff values are wrong. So I think the values that we get out of things like for 12.5K, you're usually spending that on something that's going to buff for like 40%. I think they just need to add a 0 on the end, like to start. I think that should be like 400%. And then, above that should be an even bigger number. Instead of just 80, it should probably be even bigger. Yeah, I think the values are low for what you're investing in them. I don't feel like a lot of the time until you get into like the 80% that you even see the effect of them. Yeah, and some of the feats we've gotten lately have numbers like 400% on them, and that gave me hope that maybe they were thinking of revamping feat values, but we haven't heard any conversation about that. But yeah. Rita's 2K, any tips for Rita's Hellish Rebuke achievement? I don't remember what it is. Somebody tell me what event she's in chat real quick, and then I'll go look it up. I'm watching chat until somebody tells me what event she's in. I guess I can look up what event here. We're racing chat. How quickly can you find it versus how quickly can I get to my guide page over on the subreddit that lists out all the champions and with their events? Oh, she's around here somewhere. Where's she? There's Havilar. Why do I not see Farida? Oh, there she is. Hi, Harvest Tide. Excellent. Delcoon got it right at the same time I did, I think. At least I saw it as I was saying it. All right. Hi, Harvest Tide. Farida, where you at, girl? Okay. Defeat 10,000 enemies with Hellish Rebuke. So, Hellish Rebuke is her core power. It's not her base attack. What actually does damage is Hellish Rebuke. And the problem with her Farida right now in the game is that Hellish Rebuke doesn't set Bud, and yet it's the highest damage that she puts out. So her Bud always shows up low when people make tier lists, TEAR, because they make me cry. Her Bud always shows ranks low as a DPS because her Bud is so low. But her damage is actually way higher because Hellish Rebuke is a Bud on top of that, is a bonus on top of that. To get those kills, you need to go somewhere where her base attack isn't killing things. You sit on a level where her base attack isn't killing things. What happens is they then run into your tanks and die from Hellish Rebuke. They just need to die instantly from Hellish Rebuke, but not from your base attack. So they need to be able to get all the way to the formation and then fall over. So it's going to take some fine tuning on like finding the right stage for that. And then once you get there, if you've got a Melf on the bonus extra enemies and a Tatiana with the pulling in stuff, and then you had speed potions and whatever. Shandy won't work because they got to hit your formation, but enemy spawn speed and then like Melf and Tatiana and then speed potions. But yeah, because they've got to get all the way to the formation to die. It's one of those things you weren't intended to grind it out. You were just intended to use Farida as a DPS a lot. Look, yeah, we're at 66. So this is kind of perfect. There's this 66 means there's some leeway here so that if someone in my formation, like Whittle used to be in this formation, with Whittle in the weekend buff, we would come in right around 50, 52 stacks. It would be real close with the damage. And it would go a little faster, right? Because we would be more on that edge. But I like leaving a little bit of leeway. Reacher Mustafi, maybe a stupid question, but what is wrong with having too many haste stacks? Is that just a waste of time? Yeah, you nailed it. Getting too many stacks at your wall, like I need around 3,000, 3,200 seems fine. If I were to wait until it said 4,000 or 5,000, it means I was sitting way too long. Because every couple seconds you're going to get 100 stacks because there's 100 enemies on the screen. So if you're getting an extra 1,000, then let's just say it's per second. They don't attack per second, but even if it's per second, 1,000 stacks is another 10 attacks. Let's say that's 10 seconds. It's probably closer to 20 seconds, right? But because you're cycling this over and over and over and over again for hours or even days, weeks, it's a time loss, which means it's a gem loss, right? I just spent some gems this morning, but I got a good amount. I don't gem farm constantly, but when I do, this is the way I do it. Zayatic Order, what exactly is Neris doing for the formation? You might have said it and I missed it. No, I didn't say it because I didn't explain what Briv gem farming is. Someone had a question about my time, and I just explained that. There are... Well, let me make sure I'm saying this right. There are 3 core champions needed for any Briv gem farming formation. Or at least... well, you know what? No, hold on. Let me say this differently. There are 4 specific functions you need out of champions in a Briv gem farm. I think this is probably better. There's 4 specific types of champions that you need for a Briv gem farm. 1, Briv. Now, you're like, oh, that's a champion, not a champion type. Well, look, Briv's his own champion type. Briv's Briv. You need Briv because it's Briv gem farming, because all of this is based off the skipping of areas, right? So Briv has to be in there. But the second type of champion that you're going to need is someone who can buff based off enrage stacks. Enrage is a mechanic that bosses have, where it says the boss is powering up. Those are enrage stacks, but it also happens on regular levels once 100 enemies hit the screen, because 100 enemies is most you can have. So they can't keep streaming out more enemies to do more damage to mow your formation over. Instead, they enrage them, which increases the damage that they do. There are champions who have buffs that kick in based off either the number of enemies attacking them or the number of enrage stacks that are happening. And in this case, Dragon Bait is that person for me. He has a buff based off enrage. The next type of champion, the next kind of function you're going to need is a super obvious one. It's speed, right? You need to go fast. We want go fast. Now, Briv is here already. Again, Briv is his own functionality. This is the skipping thing. Human, Shandy, and Virgil are all here for speed. Thalora is almost kind of her own speed too, and kind of in the Briv group, like with the rushing to a specific area. But we can call that speed too. So speed is anything that's going to make your run take less time. So Thalora, Virgil, Human, and Shandy are filling that role for me here, right? That functionality of speed to make me earn as many gems as possible. And then the kind of the key, the really must have, you have to have one of these, or you're just regular gem farming. Really, you're inefficiently gem farming. It may be better than farming Mad Wizard or whatever the alternative for that. There's a couple places now that you can go. Is it the Roots of something Loomlurch, or I can't remember. There's some higher campaign things that are faster than Mad Wizard now, but you have to have gotten there, which isn't, so it is a new player thing. New players still Roots of Loomlurch, yeah, there you go. New players still, if you're still in kind of the early game, Mad Wizard is still baby's first gem farm. But what you need to make this function is someone who works as both a gas pedal and a brake. If you think of this as a car, we need a gas pedal and a brake. We need a gas pedal that's going to help us speed through all the junk level, give us the damage to kill everything on the junk levels, but then stop us, slam on that brake when we get to the zone that we want to recharge on, we want to build up our stacks on. So that gas/brake champion, I usually just refer to him as a brake, here is Neris. Neris has an ability to increase damage to undead enemies. So that acts as the gas through this, because I specifically, excavating history is where I'm at, because it's primarily undead. But then she becomes the brake when we hit a level where we're not with undead. Right here, we have beasts. This is where we stack up on, is when we hit to the beasts, right? So you have to have a champion like that. Neris isn't original. The OG that enabled the OG gas break that enabled Briv gem farming to start was Minsk. You'd pick it off an undead, or not undead, a favored foe. You'd pick a favored foe. Undead would work, but you would have picked a favored foe, and he'd destroy all the favored foes, and then you'd get to a non-favored foe, and you'd stop. Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, fortunately for Minsk, unfortunately for Briv gem farmers, they changed Minsk, so he'll always spawn one of his favorite foes. That breaks your brake, right? That adds oil to the brakes, and that's bad. Then the brakes don't stop. Then you just slide right by, and that's not good, right? Because you never want to stack up on more than one area. You want to just, if this was the perfect gem farm, I would instantly move through every level and only ever stop here. Now again, mine has some speed bumps, but because it was a trade-off for Thalora, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, ideally you would just go super fast. Nowadays, Neris is great for undead if you want to use an undead break, or undead gas pedal and break on whatever else you want. That's fine. Azaka gets used a lot. Azaka has a buff that's based off whether you're indoors or outdoors. So then you don't have to worry about enemy type at all. But what you do have to look at in an adventure is how many indoor versus outdoor levels are there, and on the levels that you're jumping to, and usually it's either 1 or 2, right? Because of Thalora throws us off and makes it 1 or 2. Normally you're jumping from 1 to 6 to whatever, right? But Thalora can jump you from like into these odd numbers. It's just something you have to accept. Again, she still generates way more gems because I'm rushing past so many areas. But yeah. So Azaka is another one. I played around with the Zorbu for a bit. Didn't like it. Azaka is fine. Azaka works just fine. Zorbu was a bit of what, like I said, like your brakes are out a little bit, and you might take a couple levels to stop, and I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, so usually you're looking for some kind of favored foe mechanic that doesn't generate extra favored foes, because that's bad. Or a buff that's based off things like the indoor versus outdoor thing, right? You're looking for some kind of funky buff mechanic that can do this, right? McSlob, sorry if it's unrelated to the theme of the stream. No, look, once we get into the QA, well, at any point you can ask questions of whatever you want, and we'll get it there. I just usually do the on-topic questions first, but we're already well past the first. We're just taking all questions. All questions considered. We still got about 20 minutes left, so... I'm a little foggy on acquiring gold chests for Time Gate champions. Okay. I have all the seasonal characters, sure, but each is missing 2 or 3 legendary gear pieces? You mean epic? I'm gonna read that as epic. Sure. I have 8 Time Gate pieces. If I reopen a Time Gate for a season champion, is there a limit to how many gold chests I can acquire before it closes? Sure. Time Gates can only get you 3 gold chests currently. That's it. There's 2 regular adventures and a variant currently. So 3 gold chests. That's it. That's the most you're going to get. There's a varying number of silver chests you can get, but if you're hunting epics, those don't matter. So yeah, it's just 3 gold chests per Time Gate. Now I will say, I mean, I don't know if you've done all the season stuff. There are champion specific chests, in the season track. And if you get the season pass, there's a lot more. Season pass holders tend to either fully epic or really close to fully epic these champions, even if they were brand new. Just because of the number. Because not only are there champion specific chests, there's these season chests that are going to drop gear just for those champions. So yeah, that's kind of the other way to do it. And then of course patron chests eventually, but like I tell people, don't pop patron chests until you're full epic on your core and evergreen champions. It's just inefficient. And you can wait. You don't even need to buy them until later because there's no limit on them. But yeah, events and time gates, two completely different things. Time gates have a fixed number of gold chests you can earn. Running free plays over and over doesn't get you anything. Events are where you have, like right now with Simral, where you can run a free play over and over again and there's a chance at a chest. But that's because events are token gated, right? You can only run as many free plays as you have tokens for. Which is why a lot of us like to save up bounty contracts to burn during events, right? Because these give us more tokens. That allows us to, full epic champions. But a free play is very limited. There's no token gating. There's none of that. You're paying 6 time gate pieces, or 3 in the case of a discounted season champion, to get access to 3 gold chests and some silvers if you care about those. Yeah. No amount of questions. Remember, put question colon in front of your questions if it's for me. If it's for me. If you're just asking in chat, then you know, it's fine. It's fine. Phoenixing Ultimatum. What specs are you using on Virgil and Neris? I'm gonna try swapping the information setup and see if it works better than my hodgepodge one. Again, I can't say this enough. I cannot say this enough. My formation may not work for you. My formation may not work for you. Virgil. I run Virgil in what is it? Let's just go over here. It's easier for me to see. Come on, click on the right part. Whatever that is. I think that's left spec. And Neris is in whatever this is. Spiritual weapon, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I changed my attack cooldown reduction by a further second. It doesn't. I don't know that it matters a whole lot. I don't even remember. I don't even know who clears here. Is Neris clearing here? Probably. So it's something you could tweak. It's something you could change. Where you got. Here's what you got to remember. You're not. Again, this isn't. We can't just copy paste a Briv gem formation. Please remember that, like you'll see, my Briv doesn't even have all his feats. Sometimes a lot of champions don't have all their feats in my Briv gem farm. You need to consider everything about your Modron core, like all the nodes and everything that are hooked up and the values that they're pumping out. Your specialization choices and your feats, as well as the number of champions in your formation, are all things you should be open to adjusting, as well as placement in the formation, open to adjusting to find the right tune. These are all dials that you can switch and things you can turn off and on to try to get the right amount of power to make it smooth. So like again, I've got a feed out of my Briv, and it's his steel bone stacking one, because if I put it in, we clear too early. And sometimes I have to pull feats out of a couple people, right? Specialization choices are a way I can tune that. Obviously, for speed stuff, like speed people want the speed feats or speed specs if there's still a speed spec on them. But like Briv's is his haste one that uses fewer haste stacks. But for like Virgil and Neris, if for some reason Virgil's is giving me too much damage, maybe I'll switch to a different one, or maybe it's not getting me enough and I'll switch to a different one. Oh, we have to be able to. You have to be flexible in terms of some of those. In terms of damage specializations, you might want the high damage spec on, and then for a while, but then you might realize, oh well, when a weekend weekend buff kicks in, I need to switch it to the low damage buff specialization. Right? Like those are things you have to consider. And then for your Modron core, mine's stripped. Mine's stripped way down. The keys on the Modron core are you want speed effects. You don't want this one. You don't want this one. You want the other two speed effects. This one, because it caps out at a 50% chance to get double credit, it creates a variability that you don't want. Because your Briv gem farm needs to be as repeatable. It needs to do the same thing every single time, and this will throw that off. But you want the speed effects, you want health, and you want gold find, but you can adjust your gold find. Like if maybe you have too much gold, you might need to pull some of this out, right? That might be a thing. And then if you do have any all champs damage, like I have some down here, like I started off with none, and I see what happens. I start off with none and with like full feats. And then I can tweak some of and then I'll make adjustments. So I've got like 3 nodes hooked up here to make this work. But even tweaking the values of these, like trying to make it so this one's a blue might be a thing I have to consider, right? And using Thalora has rules of her own. Your favor needs to be like mine is. It either needs to end in a 1 or a 6 to bounce you to the right places, and even then, sometimes it's going to go +1 like this. So wherever you're doing it needs to be able to accept that. Yeah. Headhunter Armor, what are you looking forward to eating during the holidays? For me, ham and peanut butter cookies. Oh God, I've got to order my ham. Oh, I've got plenty of time left. When I went to order my ham online, we've got a local place that just makes amazing honey baked hams. But it's not like a franchise. It's just a local place. I like to support independent businesses. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because, man, we tend to get one that's for like 7 to 8 people, even though there's 2 of us, because then there's lots of leftovers, and boy, it's so good cold. That's the thing I'm looking forward to the most. I'll probably get a tub of like holiday ice cream. People get confused when I say this. Some people get confused, but they'll make like a holiday like a peppermint ice cream for the holidays, and what it is it's crushed up pieces of like candy canes in like a vanilla ice cream usually. Oh, it's so good. And people are like, doesn't that like want to poke your? No, it's like little tiny pieces, and the ice cream like rounds the edges. You're fine. So good. But I only have that in the holidays so that I don't get spoiled on it. Galandale, how good is the unaffiliated core? The unaffiliated core and the dexterous core are the 2 most powerful cores in the game. Once they're maxed out, and if you're putting them in an appropriate formation. So we're saving up for if I have my gem farm feats purchased. Here's the thing, it's not just about your feats, are your speed champions like, do you have them where they need to be? If they have item support, is that item capped, or is it to a sufficient number? Like, Briv just needs a sufficient number, Whittle just needs a sufficient number, but a lot of other champions with item support, they have caps. Melf doesn't need to worry about that. Tatiana doesn't really need, you don't really use those 2. But like Human caps, Sentry caps, Virgil caps, like, are those where they need to be? Because you need to do that. You need to invest in your farm first, and then let it run the gems up, and then to be able to buy something like to buy power with, like the unaffiliated core. If you're at that point, then sure, yeah, save up 500k gems. But like I usually say, if you're going to drop 500,000 gems, you better be able to earn that in a week, at most. At most, you should be like, if you're earning 500,000 gems a week. Yeah, you're at a point, I feel like, where you can drop on that on an affiliated core. Because it's not like it's a speed core that's going to make you go faster and more gems. It's just going to give you pushing power. Yeah. RC Pete, is there a rule of thumb when using a potion of polish? Sure. Don't use it on core and evergreen champions. There's the first rule of thumb. So any potion of polish, any functional potion that's in your inventory of polish, or the goldens are different, but any potion of polish you're going to not want to use on core and evergreens, because you can get them shiny naturally just by opening lots of chests. After that, usually you want to aim for the bang for your buck abilities, which means it's almost the theme here. You start off with speed champions. And not on all their things, but specifically their speed items. Like some speed champions have item support, and you would drop a potion of polish. You want to guild those speed items first. It's like Briv's slot 4, Human slot 4, Sentry slot 3, Virgil slot 5, Whittle's slot something 4. All of those have item support, and you would polish those first. Obviously, you're always hunting for goldens for those to make it even easier, but polish those first. Then the next step down in our list would be items that buff abilities that are multiplicatively stacking and have pre-stack, like any buffs and upgrades and things go pre-stack, because that's the OP way. And that's going to be champions like like BBEG, Sources of Corpses, Ontrius's. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Ontrius's Suave and Sophisticated, Strongheart's Righteous Might, Strongheart's Righteous Might, any of the Absolute Adversaries, Ceramorphosis items, things like that. Those are multiplicatively stacking abilities, and the buffs and any buffs to them apply pre-stack, which is, that's the OP. Multiplicatively stacking in a good way, but you don't necessarily need to guild those items. But when it's pre-stack, Jim has one that actually calls out pre-stack, increases the pre-stack effect of Jim's fan club. Okay, guild that boy. Those are the big deals, because those are the ones where the more item levels you put in, the more ridiculously strong they get. And you may not see their power when they're at a low item level, even with a guild. But once you throw like 500, 1,000 item levels average across that champion, they start destroying things. Yeah. Those are where you target first. Those are kind of the first places to go. And that includes also, Artemis and Morduke have items that buff that are the broken items for them, that are what give them their power. Kron does too. Artemis is the flute, Kron's is the hammer, and Warduck's is the rubber ducky. No, I wish. Drawn to power. It's the helm. Rollock, are there some known variants that I can run for patrons to get some easy currency in Icewind Dale? So the easy currency starts in Baldur's Gate, Descend into Avernus. Hold on. I rely. I haven't made a guide for this yet. There will be one eventually. Just haven't had time. But I'm going to link to a guide from Lediath over here. And I'm going to look there. Looks like there's one. Icequake. Yeah, the bulk of them are in Avernus. Which is why I tend to tell people Avernus is the first place you should really, actually do patron stuff. Until then, not really. It looks like Icequake, because all it does is stun, so it's a real non-restriction. It does have a super high area gold, area 775. And then remember, any other patrons above that go up, 25 per patron above that. But yeah, there's a whole list there of good stuff. I think there's an order you should do some of those Avernus ones in, but, you can figure that out, I'm sure. Flamebeard, does Nordham's bonus XP apply in the background? It should, yeah. I mean, it's gonna apply to whatever party whatever Modron core Nordham is in a party with. Like if you're trying to level up this core, but you've got Nordham over here, no. But yeah, it should. It's just gonna be real slow because background doesn't complete. You get XP for your Modron core based off the levels you're completing. And background parties, real slow. Lucky Rider, do I have enough root beer for the holidays? No. Do I have enough sunships? Yes. I still have most of the box. I also have a bunch of fruit snacks over here. So I'm good for the holidays for those two things. But root beer, I never stock up root beer because then I drink too much of it. I try to be good and moderation. So, Girl, will you sing DuckTales for us again? And I believe you mean War DuckTales. War DuckTales. Ooh. That's it. That's all you're getting. Sorry. I have to prep for that. I do not sing. And it would be so out of tune. I don't even know. Yeah. Yep, I'm still waiting for the rubber war ducky familiar. That's literally a rubber duck, but that looks like war duck. So now that we have war duck, right? Now that we have war duck, then you need a rubber ducky that looks like War Duke. So is dressed in War Duke's gear. Come on, how is that not the pack? How is that not in the pack? Yeah. Yeah, you want the rubber war ducky to be wearing the helmet and have the glowing eyes, and yeah, I mean that's the way it's got to be. That's the way it's got to be. I put up the link to Letty S Gem Farm guide. I don't have a link handy for that, but if you go over to that guide that I linked in chat for the variants, you can then click on their name and go to their posts, and you'll be able to find that. Remember, Zeke also has one. I highly recommend. I think they're both good, and I think you should just kind of read both, and then it should give you a better broad understanding of Briv gem farming, because Briv gem farming it's a whole different thing. And I think I saw a question kind of fly by, but I don't think I had a question colon in front of it. I think it was regards to like, well, how do I know when my Briv can gem farm like that? And you can start it when Briv is at 100% chance to skip one area and a 20% chance to skip two. That's kind of the lowest. That's where it becomes efficient. Now you have to go when you're at an off number like that, where you don't know exactly where you're going to end up. You have to go into a different type of a zone, like an adventure. Excuse me. And I recommend Terror in the Dark when you're not at a perfect, when you're not at like a 2, 3, or 4, or like the actual numbers, because you can't really predict where you're going to end up on those, and you might want to do it just until you get to 4, frankly. Because what you can't have happen is you can't end up on a boss area with a melee boss with ranged minions. That stops it completely. Because the boss will start to enrage, and that'll be your kill. That'll give you the damage to kill, and you'll kill the boss because he's right in the front. And then the enrage goes away, and then you won't be able to kill the minions. Yeah. Yep. Was it Disneyland once when they set free 1,000 rubber ducks in the small world flume, each purchased for charity? Oh yeah, that's cool. So I lived for a little while just outside of Portland, Oregon, and they would do a rubber ducky race in the river, and they would dump. You get just all the rubber duckies dumped into the river, and just floating down the river, and then you get a winner. And that's just amazing to see. That's amazing to think. And then you can like buy those rubber duckies afterwards and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of places that do fun stuff around rubber duckies, whether regular sized or like enormous. Chicago does it too. Yeah, like I said, anywhere with a river, you can kind of that actually flows decently. You can do fun things with rubber duckies. I have 4 pirate rubber duckies, of course, in my bathroom. Because pirate. Come on. I do. They're little tiny little things like about that big. They just sit on the counter. Yeah. All right, folks. We are out of time. Remember, next week is the last week for CNE Game streams for the year. For the year, they're going to take a couple weeks off and come back in the new year. I will be streaming over the holiday break. If you want to hang out, I will be streaming. I think I've looked at my schedule. I'm probably going to stream like Idle Champions 3 days a week, and then other games another 3 days a week. So I'll be going like 6 days a week with streams. I know it's supposed to be a vacation time, but I ain't got nothing else to do. So come join me over at Twitch TV/Gaarawarr. I'll put my here in the thing. You click on my name and follow if you'd like. Later today, in about an hour, after I go get something to eat, I'm going to be playing more Dave the Diver. Come hang out with Dave. I think probably one of the most entertaining things for me and for chat alike is that I voice Dave as we're going through it. Not necessarily what Dave is saying on the screen, but more what Dave is really thinking, in my opinion. Yeah. So come join us for that. Dave's gotten, man, Dave is so busy. Dave is a game about, I feel like, modern capitalist workforce where you're working like so many jobs just to get by. Why do I have to work so many jobs? Yeah, it's just, please do the voice. Well, see, I had the whiny one there. Hey guys, come over a little later and hang out with me while I dive for a bit. I'm also going to be working at Boncho's Sushi. If you haven't been there yet, his sushi's the best. Just don't order drinks because I hate pouring them. I'm so bad at it. Luckily, Raul and Kyoko do that for me now. Yeah, so I'll hang out with Dave and me and everybody else in chat. That's it. The song we're going out on is Brimstone Angels Go Go Go. Have a great weekend, everybody.
And I met the devil. It was a cold and stormy day. I was slightly disheveled, but I felt a spark there anyway. It taught me Eldritch Blast, and I was sure this love would last. They all told me no, but he's the devil that I know. But now we're on the road, and we've got so far to go. Brimstone angels bound together, here to run the show. We'll hunt down all your foes, punch them in the nose. Brimstone angels stand together, go, go, go. Summon the devil. It was such a boring day. He wasn't that special. I was glad to walk away. But when we got kicked out, you needed me to bail you out. I raised my blade and send devils to their grave. But now we're on the road, and we got so far to go. Brimstone angels got together, here to run the show. We'll hunt down all your foes, punch them in the nose. Brimstone angels stand together, go, go, go. Run someone before we find ourselves. From the mountain peaks to the lowest dungeon dells, I have your back through all of the 9 hells, best of sisters. But now we're on the road, and we've got so far to go. Brimstone angels bound together, here to run the show. We'll hunt down all your foes, punch them in the nose. Brimstone angels stand together, go, go, go. Brimstone angels stand together, go, go, go.
That is so awesome. I teared up.